So what standard are you working on? What's your upcoming standard?
NF4C and NF4D.
Okay. What do the students need to know or do to be successful?
Students need to be able to express whole numbers as a fraction and recognize fractions that are equivalent to whole numbers. So 3 could be 3/1 or 3/3 can be 1.
Okay.
They also need to be able to compare two fractions with the same numerator or the same denominator by reasoning about their size.
Okay. What strategies will you teach them to help them?
So I wrote down that they'll need to understand an area model, a fraction bar model, and a number line.
Okay. So do you have your assessment exemplar?
Yes, it's right here.
Okay. And what misconceptions do you predict based on taking that or creating that exemplar?
Students, the first two questions asked you to fill in the blank to represent one whole, and I'm thinking a lot of students would put 1 instead of 3/3 to make a whole. They would
Okay.
put 1/3. I also believe that students might not understand that 3/1 is 3 wholes. And another misconception might be that they would see a number such as 3/3 as 3 when 3/3 is 1.
Is 1. Okay.
Yeah.
So let's look through your presentation for the standard and make sure that all the slides that are in there you have. And if we need to add some to address these misconceptions, we can do that right now as well. Do you have the vocabulary in there?
The bar model,
Bar model, okay.
the area model is also in here.
Okay. Do we have number line in there?
Not yet.
Oh, there's the number line.
And I like how a lot of these slides are open-ended, so we can do a lot of at-bats with students.
Wait, go back. So there's your equivalent for 1, which was this misconception here that 3/3 is 3 instead of 1.
Right, so I'll just make a note that that's in our objective 3.
Okay.
Same thing, finding an equivalent fraction this time in objective 4 using a number line.
And I like that vocabulary, which fraction is equivalent for 1. I just like the vocabulary. I think it's good to have that in there. Make sure you're using that when you teach it.
This is our other
Okay, there's your
misconception.
other one, yeah.
Identifying the pieces that make one whole. So I need objective 5. And this is the piece that I think students will struggle with the most is comparing fractions by understanding their relative slide. So I like how there are open-ended slides where we can just do a lot of at-bats on that as well.
So the one that we're missing here is this 3/1 is 3 wholes. I haven't seen that yet, have you?
I have not.
Or
so
at the end? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna go in and add that because I think that is something we can use a lot of at-bats. And I'm also going to copy and paste that into my spiral slides
Good.
because I think it's something they'll need a lot of practice with. Okay, there it is. So now
Perfect.
I put that's it. Objective 7. Okay,
Perfect.
so now that's in my spiral and my PowerPoint for the week.
All right. So let's look through the binder now and see if we have enough base problems and make sure that the exemplars are there for this standard.
Okay, so let's see. Here are several examples of comparing fractions.
Okay.
So I'm gonna put a star there so I know that that is covered. Here are several examples of creating a whole by adding a
Okay.
numerator or denominator. And here are several examples of understanding.
And I like how you have the copy and then the exemplar together. So that makes it easy for your SGI.
I think the only thing I'm going to make a note of is to talk about a few of these vocab words with my SGI to make sure
Perfect.
she's using those.
Yep.
Okay, so I'm just gonna jot that down.
And I would definitely talk to her also about what you think the misconceptions might be so that
Right.
she's ready for them.
Right. So I'm gonna write that I need to talk about my vocabulary with the SGI and potential misconceptions.
Okay, so thinking about the base problems that we just looked through,
Yeah.
do they match what your students are expected to do on the quiz?
Yes, I believe so. I just think I need to make an additional base problem to cover comparing fractions by understanding
Okay.
the relative size. Because I think that is something where students will make the most mistakes.
Okay. And you feel like because a lot of these, you only have one on this quiz, one multiple choice, the rest are open-ended.
Right.
And your slides matched that as well, or were your slides all multiple choice?
It was more multiple choice than open-ended, so that's something I can go back and edit possibly,
Okay.
is to create more open-ended.
Okay.
And that might allow for extra time at the SGI Center where they can get additional practice
Okay.
and maybe get through more problems.
I would also make sure that you talk about the misconceptions.
Right. With the SGI.
Yes.
So
So
I'm gonna
that
make
she's
sure
ready.
I talk about the vocabulary and the potential misconception.
And you do have spiral, because we already looked at the spiral.
Right.
So we're good there. Are there any other instructional resources that we need to create or revise, do you think, prior to the lesson? We've done, you're gonna add some base problems in. You added stuff to your instructional slides and your spiral. Is there anything else, any hands-on materials that might help them?
I think I could definitely bring in the use of manipulative, just definitely showing them how to create a whole. But something I would like to do also is create a few Socratives for
Okay.
their check for understanding. Because I'm giving those daily.
Okay. The other thing you might want to think about is, I know that we've talked a lot about like the bar model or the area model, but thinking about groups. So like if she had 4 white marbles and 1 red marble, like that the whole group would be 5. So not just, do you know what I'm saying? So they can see like the whole group as one.
Right.
Just so that they're not only thinking of like a rectangle or a circle, but that it can be groups of items too.
Yeah, that's a great idea. Take a note of that.
All right. And we already updated the SGI base problems, and you are going to do Socrative. So I think you are ready to teach the Stanford. Nice job.
Thank you.